Today's referee is Arthur Robinson from Manchester. No problems for him with regard to the surface that the teams will operate on. And that is something of a surprise, because 2 days ago, this Filbert Street pitch was covered in snow, and there was frost underneath that, but we've had a rapid thaw, thankfully, and no doubt about the game going ahead, and no doubt about an edgy start from the home side. Corner unnecessarily conceded. 21-year-old goalkeeper Ian Andrews unable to stop the ball going behind. And West Ham still very much on the trail of a First Division Championship that they've never won. McAvenny with the short corner involving Devonshire. Here's Alan Dickens. And stabbing the ball out of play. Another of the Leicester youngsters, Simon Morgan, the left-back. Leicester really needing to bounce back from FA Cup humiliation. West Ham safely through in that respect to the next challenge into the fourth round, having beaten Charlton of the second division away from home. Ray Stewart, who does have a tendency of overhitting his passes, and he certainly overhit that one. Went straight behind for a goal kick. And I think a little bit of byplay amongst the West Ham back four, joking with Stewart about an over-heavy touch. Alan Smith. Stabbed forward by Feely. It's Mark Bright giving chase, and Alvin Martin, as he has been so often this season, in the right place for West Ham, their captain. West Ham went 18 league games unbeaten until Boxing Day, when they lost at Tottenham. McAllister, that was well hit. He was a schoolboy with Manchester United at the same time as Norman Whiteside and Mark Hughes. In fact, shared digs with them for a while, and everyone thought that he would stay at Old Trafford, but they let him go. He's come back to England, to Leicester. West Ham go on with Devonshire, with Moughlan down injured, and Dickens! And that's an excellent save, showing the qualities of Ian Andrews. It looked for a moment as though the shot from Alan Dickens was arrowing into that top corner. But Andrews at full stretch just got his fingertips to it, and it was over the bar to safety. Ward. Well read by Alan Smith. Dickens. And it breaks for Feely. Here's Bright. Banks. Linex outside him. Smith joined by Osman at the far post, and it was a good covering header by Stewart, only as far as McAllister. Taking on Gale. And Steve Wolford serving West Ham well until he dwells too long. Banks, and offside, Alan Smith. Alan Smith. McAllister, the shot's on here, and Parks has to thrust it aside. Corner taken quickly. Moughlan. Banks again. That's a useful cross too for Bright, coming in at the far post. Leicester keeping the pressure on at set plays. O'Neill, Alan Smith was pushing down. So West Ham can regroup now and draw breath. A spell of Leicester pressure, which began really with this move. A lovely touch from Alan Smith. And Gary McAllister has shown a willingness to pepper away shots at Phil Parks' goal in this first half. Quickly taken throw by Ward. And the quick thinking was not rewarded by McAvenny, whose touch was way off target. Ward again. They've left Cotti. That could be costly for Leicester. Only Andrews prevented the mistake being punished. There were blue-shirted players all around Tony Cotti, but not close enough to make any sort of challenge at all. And he went on and looked to curl it over a goalkeeper who was coming off his line, but Andrews responded bravely. Leicester City really have responded to the bigger occasions this season. As Cotti tests them out here. Dickens for McAvenny. The type of chance that earlier in the season he would have tucked away. But I don't think he's totally convinced about his fitness. And it was a rather tame effort at the end after a splendid cross from Cotti, a guided header down from Dickens. It wasn't easy to hit, but Andrews not forced upon to make a save. Devonshire for Cotti. A little too much of a hurry. McAllister was half a yard off being a fine pass. Played first time. Linex starting the half, hugging the touchline again. McAvenny, Mocklin in the way. And, here's Osman. Feely. Now Bright. Mocklin. Neil playing really into West Ham's strengths in there. Martin won it comfortably. Ward's off on a run, and Dickens finds him. And he's away from Morgan. Cotti and McAvenny repositioning in the middle, and it's McAvenny. He has done it again. Fully fit or not, with a delicately judged header. And Ward picked him out beautifully, and Andrews just caught off his line, and it dropped in off the underside of the bar. So, delight for the travelling West Ham support 9 minutes into the second half. And Frank McAvenny now has 20 goals for West Ham, and he maintains a remarkable record on big league soccer of having scored in every West Ham game we've brought you this season. And in fact, he's been the only West Ham scorer in those games. Found by Osman. Banks. And the shot is on here, and Parks hauls it in to safety. There was more aggression in Leicester's build-up then, particularly with the running and final shot from Banks. Gale. McAvenny. Gale. chance to turn Banks. McAvenny again. Maybe a shot from him. In the end, it comes from Stewart. And the appeal's answered in the affirmative for West Ham. It is a corner. Mark Bright is the player pulled off to accommodate the arrival of Bobby Smith. "25 minutes left as Smith comes on, and for the moment taking up an attacking role. So we have two Smiths for Leicester, unrelated. One English, Alan, and the Scot, Bobby. Actually, Bobby Smith was signed initially as a striker, where he played in Scotland for Hibs, but has worked his way back through midfield to a fullback position in recent seasons. McAllister. Now Banks. Alan Smith wanting it played early ahead of him, but Banks has his own thoughts on the matter, and the referee does too, because he awards the free kick even though Banks kept the ball. Mocklin. Real Scottish flavour about Leicester City at the moment. Linex. That's very well done indeed. And Alan Smith couldn't reposition as O'Neill knocked it back across a gaping goal. And they feel that there was an infringement in there. Linex leading the protests, but it was a splendidly penetrating run from him. Past Wolford, past Paris. There was John O'Neill. And Alan Smith left just with frustration. Mocklin. Bobby Smith, that was beautifully guided down for Linex, and Wolford caught his heels. A penalty for Leicester City. And maybe the previous incident played a part. Linex and Ward getting involved in an argument with each other that's surely unnecessary from the Leicester viewpoint. Superb touch from the substitute Bobby Smith, and then Wolford caught the heels of Steve Linex. And when it all settles down, Gary McAllister, who's taken over the penalty responsibilities in recent weeks from Linex, hits it against the legs of Parks, and West Ham survive. It was far too close to the goalkeeper, but all credit to Phil Parks. He's made the save that's so important to West Ham. Mocklin. Here's Banks. Osman. Feely's cross is too deep for Leicester. Well, Phil Parks, 35 years old, and he's protected West Ham's lead here by kicking away Gary McAllister's penalty. Strains of the West Ham song, Bubbles, echoing round Filbert Street. Stewart. It's Dickens who's challenging the goalkeeper and beating him to it. And Osman got it off the line. Well, Ian Andrews blotted his copybook then, but Russell Osman came to his rescue. Ward to take the corner, and Martin stretching in. was Russell Osman who came to Leicester's rescue a moment or two ago. Dickens beating Andrews to it, and Osman had anticipated just that eventuality. Alan Smith, Bobby Smith, and Banks. So that's the corner. To the surprise of Parks. So West Ham here have to keep their concentration, keep their discipline, be tight in their marking. Cottee, it's an intelligent ball, and Ward had offered himself in support. He's two to his right, and Leicester have no one there. And Dickens could have settled the destiny of the match then. From defending at one end, West Ham swept the length of the field. Ward was found by Cottee from the first clearance, and Dickens in the right position to support him. It was a clear opportunity, although Moughlan did well to make the challenge.
So Frank McAvenny